Once upon a time, Michael Forbes transforms Kelly Shadi's life from rags to riches.
She was absolutely happy. We shared a cry, and it was really touching. It's like, oh my God, like this is really gonna happen.
He was in heaven. I rarely, if ever, saw the emotional side of Michael, but on that day, you just saw it.
But just weeks after the ceremony, this Cinderella story suddenly turns to ashes.
It's just like a stab in my heart.
This had to be intentional. This was no accident.
If I can't control you, I'm going to kill you.
For this couple, the honeymoon is over. In a Brooklyn, New York wedding hall, Kelly Shadi floats like a princess down the aisle to a steel drum band.
It was so rhythmic and just so moving.
The 29-year-old Trinidadian immigrant has finally found a wealthy and loving Prince Charming. He's given her and her daughter Nicole everything they've ever wanted.
She was really happy. She smiled a lot, She just looked like she was in love. Absolutely in love.
Kelly really was living the American dream. She arrived as an immigrant, and wow, meet a millionaire and get married. This is what other people wish and dream for all the time.
Kelly was swept off of her feet by a man who's able to show her some of the luxury that she wasn't able to provide for herself.
Prince Charming is 50-year-old Michael Forbes. He's supportive, stable, a self-made millionaire, and lots of fun.
It was a party, yes. He was the whole party himself. The room lit up when Michael came in.
And today, he's the luckiest guy on earth.
Who wouldn't want a beautiful, exotic woman next to her, on her side?
He's smiling ear to ear. He just seemed like a little boy who is starting a whole new life. And like what awaits me.
You make just right.
It's a perfect fairy tale day. But too soon, a dark curse destroys all that romantic magic. It's early morning on November 21st, 2007, and one of Michael's friends waits outside a Long Island home improvement store.
Hey, Mike, come on now. This is not like you. You're supposed to have been here 15, 20 minutes ago.
He and Michael are supposed to meet, but Michael hasn't shown up.
Okay, Mike, now this is getting a little disturbing now. You're supposed to have been here half an hour ago. Come on now, give me a call. I'm starting to get really, really nervous about this.
It's completely out of character for him.
Michael was the epitome of a businessman. He was always punctual. He'd be on time. If not, he would call. He would never be one to not show up.
Michael Forbes develops his sharp business sense and hard work ethic growing up in the Jamaica neighborhood of Queens, New York, where he treats his paper route like a Fortune 500 company.
He had the art of the deal because everybody on his route loved him. His skills were incredible.
He was very smart and a very intelligent young man.
But despite his drive as a kid, Michael unfortunately falls in with a bad crowd in high school, getting involved in the drug scene.
I heard that Mike was doing negative things. He was selling, and it really shocked me because this was a different person from who I grew up with.
In 1984, he's convicted of a drug-related crime and spends nearly 5 years behind bars. It's crushing for his parents and a wake-up call for Michael. He vows to come out a changed man.
He said, I would never go back to jail again. Never. I learned my lesson.
When he came home, he was just focused on, setting up a business and trying to get established as far as getting his life in order.
With a little financial help from his parents, he opens a barber shop in Brooklyn.
He had this grand opening, and it was a fantastic looking place in the heart of Brooklyn. I mean, there is so much traffic. It was around the clock business.
Customers love the service, but they really come in to hang out with Michael. He's a charmer with serious charisma. He's doing more than running a barber shop. He's giving his clients an experience.
When they came in, not only they left with a haircut, but they left, energized and just feel good about it.
It's so successful, Michael's able to start investing in other businesses, restaurants, property holdings. In Michael's new life of success, there is no shortage of cash, customers, or women.
There were always ladies like stepping into the barbershop, and I'd be like, "Who is that, Mike?" And like, they don't worry about it.
Hi, you must be Michael. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Well, hi. Oh, that was plenty of girls. Oh my God, the women.
Yeah, we just have
How's it going?
well, business is going
Yeah?
quite,
Going real good?
quite well.
And for all those women, Michael is the ultimate chick magnet. Handsome,
We just
charming,
drive by
and well off. But no matter how many he meets, none of them feels right.
The customers here. This is my head barber, Jack.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, so you're part of the business too?
I sure am.
Partners?
He specifically said that he's looking for a wife and he wants to have more children.
One of his goals was to find that one woman that he can, I guess, live happily ever after.
2,000 miles away on the small Caribbean island of Trinidad, Kelly Shadi is also looking for her happily ever after. Desperately. She lives in a rough area, has trouble finding work, and falls victim to abusive men.
This type of environment was a living nightmare.
She has a baby daughter from a failed relationship. Now Kelly clings to one dream, escaping with her little girl.
She did want to make a better life for her daughter and give her everything that we didn't have growing up.
She sets her sights on the United States, the borough of Brooklyn, where her brothers had immigrated several years earlier.
To Kelly, the United States symbolized everything she didn't have. It was freedom, it was opportunity, it was safety. She was determined to never let her daughter live the life that she had lived.
She gets a visa and moves to Brooklyn, but needs to find work. She goes to school to become a certified medical assistant, landing a job at a Brooklyn hospital. Her American dream has become a joyous reality.
She went from having a very tough life in Trinidad to being taken seriously as a professional. You are proving to the world and proving to yourself that you have what it takes to succeed.
She just used all the opportunities she had as best as she knew how. Everything started falling into place.
Like Kelly, Michael's business ventures have also been falling into place. But all the work stress is starting to take its toll.
You would go to the barbershop 6 o'clock in the morning. You would leave 10 o'clock at night. He was just barreling through everything.
I was very concerned about his health at that point.
Michael's doctor orders him to go for a stress test. And the medical assistant who does the preliminary exam is the radiant Kelly.
You're absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
She tries to keep things professional.
I don't know if you should be the one to take my blood pressure today,
Why?
causing my blood pressure to go up.
When Michael laid eyes on Kelly, that was it. She was beautiful. She had personality. They immediately had a connection.
He was in love with her at first sight.
The confident businessman asks her to dinner.
Would you like to go out sometime?
And despite the 20-year age difference, she's charmed and says yes.
An older guy represents stability to young women. Here's a man who sort of has some wisdom, some financial stability, and of course, to a guy who's worked hard all his life, he may feel he deserves a young, attractive woman.
It's the very first chapter of their future story together. But now that future is uncertain, as Michael's friend grows more and more concerned.
Where are you, man? Come on, we gotta get this project done.
The friend calls Michael's phone again and again and again. No answer. This wasn't like Michael.
Give me a call. I'm starting to get nervous here. Come on now. Are you okay? Just let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Then he calls the home phone. No answer on the home phone.
Something is wrong. He can just feel it. The sunny romantic tale of two newlyweds is about to turn very dark and very twisted.
By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife.
After the Brooklyn wedding of Michael and Kelly Forbes, one of Michael's friends is increasingly worried when Michael fails to meet him and can't be reached.
Michael would never not pick up or at least contact his friend when he didn't show up. Something was wrong. Something happened.
He's right. Something did happen. Around 9 o'clock that morning, a 911 call comes into the Nassau County Police Department. It's Kelly Forbes at the couple's home.
She was pleading for them to please send somebody. Michael wasn't conscious. She didn't know what to do.
It takes only minutes for help to arrive.
She was crying. She was panicked. She was in tears.
The hysterical newlywed directs EMTs to a hallway on the second floor, just outside the master bedroom. There they find the new groom, sprawled on the floor.
Hear me?
He's barely breathing, unconscious and unresponsive. He's got a faint pulse that's getting weaker.
They knew immediately they did not have a lot of time. Michael needed to get to a hospital and fast.
When her husband is lying on the floor, it's like her dream is lying before her. The memory of the beautiful wedding, the vows, her entire dream was literally wasting away on the floor.
What has happened to the couple's love at first sight fairy tale? Just a year earlier, they were writing the first joyous pages in their book of love.
So then all of a sudden,
Oh. Oh my God.
Kelly is flattered by all the attention.
For Kelly, meeting Michael was like hitting the lottery. Here was a man who was older. He was good looking. He was established and he had money and he liked to spend it on her. And she enjoyed it.
I'm looking for Kelly Shadid.
That's me. See, only took a moment.
Michael, that's really
Looks like the former playboy has become a one-woman man.
Miss Adi? Miss Adi? Delivery.
He wants to make sure she understands just how much he's fallen for her.
Oh, I love Michael.
And around the barbershop, he can't help but brag to friends.
What's going on with this girl of yours?
Now you're talking. Now you made me smile, my brother.
Miss Kelly.
Say it with reverence.
Miss Kelly.
He was describing her as a beauty queen, and she was like caramel complexion, long hair.
She's beautiful.
My hair, it flows down. I'm trying to tell you, caramel skin, a figure that won't quit.
Oh, we could get a chance to meet her?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we could get a chance to meet her?
We've been divorced about 15, 20 years now. When am I going to meet this woman? Soon, my brother. Just hang tight. All right?
She's gonna come by and you get a chance to meet her. She is beautiful.
He was just infatuated with her beauty.
But the attraction isn't just physical. Though they come from different worlds, they're both looking for the same things: happiness, romance, family. Kelly discovers that beneath Michael's driven exterior is actually a tender-hearted, gentle guy. It turns out he loves kids, just the kind of guy she's been hoping for.
Hi, Nicole. How are you? Good. I've heard so much about you.
Ultimately, she was looking for a substance, and she found that in Michael.
Michael is on his way to winning over her heart. Then when she sees him with her daughter, she's absolutely sure he's the one.
The young girl had no reservations whatsoever when it came to Michael. She would play with him, just have a good time, because Michael is a young kid at heart anyways.
I don't think there's anything sexier in a man than to see him be a good father. Women love this. Women love when men are responsible, are good role models, are caregivers to their children.
And Michael's convinced too. She's the one he's waited for.
I could just look at him and, he was shining, he had the glow to him, he was, very happy.
I'm ecstatic for him. Everything is just falling into place as far as his business aspirations and his family aspirations. It's how perfect.
After dating just 4 months, he makes his biggest move
So
yet.
that's one thing that would make it extra perfect.
And in typical Michael fashion, he presents an engagement ring so huge, it takes her breath away.
It made a statement, definitely. It was a beautiful ring.
I'm like, wow. People see the ring coming before they even see Kelly coming.
For Kelly, that ring symbolized that she had achieved what she came to the United States for. The ring symbolized a better life that she wanted for herself and her daughter.
She's really buying into the Cinderella fantasy here, that life is going to be problem-free from here on in.
But now her hopes for a picture-perfect future are dashed as her Prince Charming lies unconscious on the floor, barely breathing. EMTs quickly realize this was no accident or illness.
There were ligature marks and major bruising around Michael's neck.
Had the new groom been attacked by an intruder? As EMTs rush him to the hospital, police try to ask the shaken bride if she saw anything.
Kelly was so upset she couldn't speak and she couldn't be coherent as to what happened and why Michael was laying half dead on the floor. They couldn't get answers.
Her little girl awakens to a shocking sight. Her mother in tears, the man she'd grown to love being whisked away in an ambulance. It's a traumatic turn of events for everyone, but police need answers. What horrors did the new bride witness early that morning? Two months after a storybook wedding, newlywed groom Michael Forbes is found on the verge of death, with heavy bruising around his neck.
The police were trying their best to piece this together to find out what happened to lead to Michael being close to death.
Detectives find an extension cord on the floor near where Michael lay.
Police realized that this is probably the object that caused the ligature marks and the bruising around his neck. This had to be intentional. This was no accident.
Only someone strong could have strangled this big, powerful man with an extension cord. Had someone slipped in during the night while he slept? Maybe a thug from Michael's criminal past, seeking vengeance? And why strike now? Just as Michael's life had finally fallen into place. Just months earlier, He and Kelly were starry-eyed with the rush of new love, and he spares no expense to let her know how much she means to him.
He was excited to show her this world that she never had because he wanted her to be happy.
All right. Anything my baby wants.
Oh, yes.
So,
Michael is going to give Kelly a brand new life, and meaning brand new in every aspect of the word.
You know, men love to be the provider. It feels good to be able to care for a family, for a girlfriend, for children. This is all good.
are we going to be here all night?
I think so.
Michael declares Kelly will have her dream wedding, carte blanche.
Once Kelly knew that she can do whatever she wanted, I think she just went crazy, as any new bride would. Just a blank check that basically Kelly had.
She's going to go big and classy with a Trinidadian flair to honor her heritage.
It was important to keep tradition. When you come to America, you tend to lose like a lot of cultures. So I guess for her daughter's sake, for her to see like, you know, this is how it's done.
The island theme will include steel drums, her in a lovely white dress, him in a sharp white tux, lots of fun red accents. As she plans, Kelly's on cloud 9. But then,
Wait,
every bride's nightmare,
my ring.
Oh God.
What?
her gorgeous
Where's my ring?
engagement ring is gone.
Can you imagine right before your wedding, you lose the biggest symbol of your marriage? Your diamond engagement ring? It must have been devastating for her.
She can't find it anywhere and has to tell Michael. He immediately replaces the ring, but Kelly discovers it's not quite the same.
We were in the mall and we happened to go into a jewelry shop, and the guy asked her to see the ring, and when he tested it, it turned out that it was fake. So he was like, "Well, is it cubic zirconia?" He's like, "No, it's not even reading as cubic zirconia. It's like glass or something."
Horrified, mortified, angry, she confronts him. Had the first ring been a fake too?
Can we just talk?
Talk to me.
I will. Let me talk to you.
She was really, really embarrassed
It's only temporary, baby.
because you're like flaunting this ring and you're thinking it's real and it's not. It was like an insult to her.
Just want to make sure I give you something right now.
Michael tries to talk her down. He explains he always intended the fake ring to be just a placeholder until he can find an actual diamond even bigger and more beautiful than the first one. He swears he's already been looking, and he'll have the replacement in time for the wedding.
But he did tell her that this is just something you wear so people can understand we're engaged. It's not really the value of the ring, it's just the fact, like a symbolism, that you're engaged to me.
Will you forgive me?
He promises the ring and the wedding will be just what she wants. And he comes through.
Michael placed the ring on her finger. She just covered her mouth. Her mouth dropped open because she had the real big diamond on her finger.
And after the ceremony, a lavish reception.
Oh, they were just bubbling over, dancing, and kissing, and laughing, and everything. Oh, she was smiling way back, laughing and grinning and carrying on.
We so appreciate you being here for Kelly and I have a little bit of a surprise.
At the reception, Michael tells everyone how much Kelly and her love mean to him. And he makes a jaw-dropping announcement.
Take a look at where we're going to be living.
His surprise wedding gift to Kelly is $1 million waterfront home in Long Island.
Not only is she getting a brand new life, but a brand new house. And I remember Kelly just looking at Michael. She was absolutely shocked. She's hugging Michael. She's just in bliss.
Could this day get any better? After the celebration, the two are off to a Caribbean honeymoon cruise. As he promised, it's the perfect wedding day. But now that day is a distant memory, as their love story comes to a tragic end. Michael had gone too long without enough oxygen, and at 10:10 a.m. on November 21st, 2007, doctors pronounce him dead.
The medical examiner was able to determine that Michael was killed by strangulation. There was so much force placed on his neck that it actually broke the cartilage, which crushed his windpipe and caused him to die.
As the news of Michael's passing spreads, his family and friends are utterly devastated.
Oh, that was terrible. I was in another state of mind, I guess. I was just numb, really, because I really couldn't believe it. I just can't be true. Like a nightmare.
It's just like a stab in my heart.
When their son had finally achieved everything they dreamed of for him, when he'd gotten his life together, when he'd become a millionaire, and then the beautiful bride, everything was coming together. And now this.
Who could have taken the life of this loving son, husband, and father figure in such a horrible and violent way?
To strangle someone, I mean, that takes a lot of intent. It takes a lot of pressure. It's unconscionable.
Was it someone from Michael's past seeking revenge? The hysterical bride is about to tell a shocking new story that will turn this tale of love and murder upside down. Michael Forbes is dead, strangled to death inside the Long Island home he'd bought as a wedding gift for his new wife, Kelly.
Can you tell me what really happened? Mrs. Forbes, you have to tell me what really happened.
Police push the grief-stricken bride for answers, and when she manages to talk, what she says will leave police flabbergasted. She suddenly announces she was the one who strangled him with the extension cord. But she insists she had to save her own life.
The whole case took a major turn in that moment.
With that admission, police take Kelly to the station to get a detailed statement. Kelly claims their marriage had quickly deteriorated because of Michael's violent control issues.
Kelly told the police that Michael had been abusive to her. He was psychologically abusive. He was controlling. He was manipulative.
She says when it got bad, she started to refuse to obey his orders, making him increasingly furious. Until that night, when he finally snapped.
Michael and Kelly had been fighting.
She says he was angry because she wasn't being attentive enough to him.
Kelly went to sleep on the couch that night. She woke up with Michael putting an extension cord around her neck. If I can't control you, I'm going to kill you. That's what Kelly told the police happened.
She says she somehow found the strength to overpower her much stronger husband.
Through a sheer act of will and determination, she was able to pull the cord just enough for 10 seconds to the point where Michael let go. And it was just enough to incapacitate Michael.
Kelly claims this was complete self-defense. This was a kill or be killed situation, and she had no choice.
But detectives are puzzled by the physics of her story.
The big question for police was, how did this petite woman that didn't have a history of violence overcome her husband who was over 6 feet?
And also, if she had been involved in a violent struggle just hours earlier, where are her battle wounds?
Kelly had no bruises. She had one little mark on her wrist, and she also had a scratch in the back of her neck. For someone who claims to have been attacked, it was very odd that there were no signs of a struggle.
Prosecutors charge Kelly with second-degree murder and hold her until a grand jury can convene and decide whether there's enough evidence to go to trial. Seeking to build their case, police look more deeply into the couple's past. They learn the marriage got off to a rocky start from the beginning. Even on the honeymoon, when Kelly goes out most nights, without Michael.
He said, I had the worst time of my life I ever had. I said, why? Why would you say that? He says, because half of the time I didn't see Kelly.
Kelly?
I would get up at night, go out looking for her, and I couldn't find her.
She's on her honeymoon, and Kelly leaves the marital bed in the middle of the night to do what? To go have a drink with somebody, one last dance, go walk and see the moonlight by herself? This makes me wonder why she's in this marriage.
When they get home from the honeymoon, Michael's normally happy-go-lucky attitude has vanished.
Michael went from this giddy little boy at his wedding who felt like this is the most amazing time I'm having ever in life to what has happened. It seemed like something just kind of like blindsided him.
Mommy! You all worn out from that honeymoon, aren't you?
Well, something on the inside was definitely bothering him. He didn't just come out and say it, but through his conversations, he was a little depressed.
Exactly the opposite of how a newlywed should feel. And as the weeks pass, the tension mounts. Friends say the city girl in Kelly misses the bustle of Brooklyn and feels like a caged bird in her $1 million Long Island home. She often takes day trips into the city, leaving him to watch her daughter, but never says where she's going or with whom.
Kelly had all kinds of excuses. She was visiting her brothers, she was staying with friends, she had errands to run. I would call sometimes and say, where's Kelly? She's in Brooklyn. I thought, that doesn't sound right. Something is going on.
It hits Michael hard.
I could feel the stress. I could feel the tension in him building up.
It's only a matter of time before he breaks, emotionally and physically.
Michael called me and told me, hey, Mom, could you come out here? I said, what's the matter? He said, I feel like I'm having a stroke or a heart attack. I said, where is Kelly?
She's not here. Mom hurt.
His worried mother calls 911. It turns out he has suffered a massive heart attack. And even in this dark hour, his new bride can't make time to see him. She's too busy in Brooklyn doing whatever it is she's doing. First a heart attack, now a broken heart.
This emotionalist person that I've known all my life is looking like he's ready to cry, saying that his wife is not coming to the hospital to even see me.
She has to have transportation.
Yet Michael keeps making excuses for his wife.
I'm hearing Michael say that the reason why she's not there, perhaps, is because she has no transportation from Brooklyn to Long Island. So let me address that by helping her buy her brand new car.
Yes, right in the top drawer.
Right now isn't the time to be making big decisions like this.
From his hospital bed, he writes a check to pay for a brand new Mercedes and asks a friend to take Kelly to the dealership and pick out a car of her choice.
My heart is breaking for Michael. He wanted to buy himself the one thing he'd been unable to find, love.
He hopes the new car will be enough to drive his bride back into his arms. But the purchase has the opposite effect. Kelly spends even more time away, even overnight, leaving Michael and his parents to care for her daughter.
Kelly would go missing for periods at a time, sometimes a full day, sometimes days at a time.
Absolutely, Michael suspected something when your wife is not coming home at night. The most lenient spouse will suspect something, and he did. He was definitely verbalizing that something's not right here at all.
Michael suspects she might be cheating on him, but he's never been a quitter, and he won't be one now with his marriage.
He wanted it to work so bad until he was going to go and try it again.
probably everything will work out all right.
If that's what you want to do, you go ahead and do it. But you're making a mistake.
In fact, his worst fears are right on target. The new bride tells friends she's been having an affair with a young Brooklyn hunk she met online.
Around the time they were married, Kelly had created an online dating profile called Sexy Trini. Michael had no idea that his wife was now online soliciting dates and men.
Police wonder if Kelly found love outside the marriage, and if Michael really was abusive, why had she stayed? As detectives dig in, they find no evidence to support her story of being victimized.
In those 8 weeks they were married, there was not one call to police. There was not one police report. There was no one that could substantiate Kelly's claims that Michael had become physically abusive. Not the police, not her friends, not family. It was Kelly's word against Michael's.
There was no indication that there was ever any domestic abuse throughout their relationship. The motive that she's giving the police doesn't state.
And prosecutors don't find her self-defense claim remotely credible. The grand jury convenes and reviews the evidence. The prosecution is confident their case is strong. But there's one more stunning twist in this tragic tale. Kelly's indictment for Michael's murder gets thrown out.
The grand jury dismissed the murder count. They found that there was insufficient evidence to charge Kelly with murder. In essence, the grand jury believes her story.
On November 27th, 2007, she's released, a free woman. For Michael's loved ones, it's an inconceivable outcome and a crushing blow.
I'm saying to myself, are you serious? Are you serious?
Did Kelly Forbes just get away with killing her husband? Although Kelly Forbes confessed to strangling her husband, Michael, a grand jury doesn't think it was murder.
The grand jury believed that Kelly acted in self-defense and she did not intend to kill Michael Forbes.
She's a free woman, for now. But prosecutors haven't given up. They're determined to find more evidence and get her back in court on new charges that will stick. First, they need to prove how such a small woman could have overpowered her seemingly stronger husband. They get a boost from Michael's toxicology report, which references his recent heart attack and the prescription drugs he'd been taking ever since.
He was on an array of medications. He was half the man that you saw in front of you. He was weak, he was vulnerable, and he was certainly compromised enough that someone of Kelly's size could easily overcome and overtake him to commit this crime.
Detectives also detail the timeline of that fateful morning and uncover the fact that Kelly had contacted her lover before calling 911.
There were a series of text messages, and Kelly actually admits that she doesn't think that Michael is alive, that he is on the floor and he's not breathing. And Kelly's lover tells her to dial 911. Kelly waited a full 30 minutes between the time she placed that distress text to her lover and when she picked up the phone to call 911 for Michael. It was quite obvious that Kelly did not do everything she could to save her husband that morning.
Maybe in those 30 minutes she was trying to figure out a plan, maybe an escape plan, maybe she was trying to get her story straight. What did she tell authorities when they arrived?
And when detectives interrogate Kelly's lover, he confirms her allegations of abuse are lies.
He told them that not only had he seen Kelly naked quite a bit in these 8 weeks since she's been married, she never had any bruises, she never had any marks, but she had also never mentioned Michael being even the slightest bit abusive to her.
It's exactly the testimony they need.
Prosecutors were confident in light of Kelly's lover's statement Combined with Michael's compromised health state, they had what they needed to secure an indictment.
Armed with the new evidence, prosecutors take the case back to the grand jury, asking for an indictment on a new charge, first-degree manslaughter, since they can't indict for murder a second time. It's a lesser charge, but still indicates intent to kill. This time, the grand jury does indict her, and Kelly Forbes goes to trial in May 2008.
Prosecutors could go into court and really confidently portray Kelly was not what she was claiming. This was not a meek woman that was being abused, that sort of had no voice and was just defending herself. It was quite the opposite. She wanted him gone.
Kelly's defense team maintains she only killed Michael to protect herself.
This wasn't a plan. Kelly didn't go to bed that night and say, you know what, I think it's a good idea to kill Michael while my daughter's sleeping in the next room. No, this wasn't a plan. This was survival instinct.
But prosecutors disagree. They argue Kelly struck and took him by surprise when she knew he was vulnerable. The family believes her motive was simple. By getting rid of him and claiming self-defense, she could have a life with her young lover and inherit all the perks that came with being married to Michael.
She may have thought that she can, inherit his house, inherit his riches, inherit his business somehow. It was a poorly planned that wasn't thought through. It just crumbled up for her.
Her big plan was greed. That was the whole thing from the beginning. That she decided to do that, to take whatever he had.
Ironically, what Kelly didn't know is that she would never see a penny of Michael's money. He had wisely placed all of his property, investments, and bank accounts in his parents' names.
It turned out what he had was not in his name. It was in our name, so she can't touch it.
As much as he was trying to get Kelly to love him by giving her anything for the lavish wedding, by buying her a car when he was in the hospital, on some level he knew she couldn't love. In the end, the joke was on her. I mean, she thought she was going to come into money, but there was no money in the end.
After 3 weeks of testimony, the jury takes just 4 hours to reach a verdict. They find her guilty. They sentence Kelly Forbes to 21 years in prison.
She was the quintessential gold digger. She had found a man to give her what she wanted, but when she got it, she no longer wanted the man.
This was a tragic case from beginning to end. It's always tragic when someone loses their life. Her daughter has to grow up knowing that mommy killed a man.
Michael's family is left with only their memories of the man they love so much.
There's not a day that passes that I don't think about Michael, or all day sometime,
There is an old saying, as long as you can call a person's name, they're still alive. When you stop calling their name, they're no longer with you. And I'll always call his name. Michael will always be with me.